birthright is the promise that's on your life. It's the promise here on your life. Now, here's the thing. Now, he was the firstborn to where Esau actually had a legitimate birthright. He had an absolute legitimate birthright, right? But some of you guys and some of us are born and no one really knows our birthright but God. Sometimes if you have a parent that can just really see and is really paying attention to you and your life and where things are going, they may be able to call it out, if you have a praying parent or something like that. But that's the promise that's on your life. That's your birthright. And so the crazy part about him is that he sold his birthright for a morsel of meat. And this may sound crazy, but many of you guys are doing the same exact thing. There are things that are supposed to be on your life that you exchange for a little piece of meat. Some of it's literal. Some of y'all exchange it for some literal, some literal meat. I can't say the word, right? But what are you exchanging your time for? What are you exchanging your destiny for? What is it that you're supposed to be doing? And are you exchanging that for just a little something? For a little something. Welcome to the live, y'all. Welcome, Cookie. Daniel, what's up? I appreciate that. Y'all continue to like up the live. Tell me what it is. What is it that you're doing in the season? Because every person that I meet right now, for some reason, they're battling something in their mind and in their spirit. Now, if you're aware of that, just put your hands up, put something up in the chat. But what I'm going to do is give you guys 5 things that you can do to make it worth it, to get a turnaround, an immediate turnaround in your life. Why? Because you're supposed to win your race, fool. You're supposed to win your race. You're supposed to be out here winning. Winning doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. Winning does not mean it's not going to be challenging. Winning doesn't mean you're not going to get hit in the fight. You can get hit in the face and still win a boxing match. You can win a boxing match with a black eye. You can have a black eye by the end, but you still get the belt and you still get the prize money. It is 1000% possible. And sometimes what will happen is we'll see struggle as a sign that things aren't working. We'll really think that our struggle is a sign that things aren't working. Maybe I'm just supposed to fall back. No, you're not. They deduct points for stuff like that. You're not supposed to fall back. You're supposed to stand up. So this is one of the things that I see the people of God, oh my gosh, we're really, really struggling with. We're really struggling with this area. If anybody should be winning, it should be God's people that are out here winning. But y'all letting everybody who loud and wrong, right, and couldn't hit the heavens with a rock, couldn't look towards it, go out here and win. And you know why they're winning? Because you won't enter the race for real. They're winning because you will not enter the race for real. God's people are the ones who should be prospering. This is a time period of the great exchange, but you can only receive that great exchange if you're in the race. You have to get in the race, right? You have to get in the race. Thank you so much, DMG. You have to get in the race. You have to be willing to do what it is that you want to do. What is it that God called you to do? Are you ready to take hold of that thing? Is your life going to end like Paul, where he says, look, I ran my race, I ran my course, and I finished it. Not I was just out there, and then eventually I got some water and sat down. Finish the race. And there's too many of God's people who are not finishing the race because you're stepping out. And so this is what I'm saying. I want you guys to look back at your life. Look back at your life. And I want you to think of everything that's happening and that has happened in your life that you're like, you know what, that was really hard. Look back. Everybody on YouTube, look back. What are the things that were happening in your life to where you're like, hello, how you doing? Everything that's been in your life that's been a challenge. What was a challenge in your childhood? What was a challenge when you were coming up? What was a challenge when you became an adult? What were the financial challenges? What were the relational challenges? What were the things that you're like, man, I can't believe it, I made it through that? What were those things? What were those things? Type it in the chat. What were some of those things? Did you lose a parent? Did someone tell you that you were learning disabled? That you had a learning disability? Did you go to a school that wasn't so great? Did you deal with racism? Did you deal with anything that would have made you say, man, this just kind of put me behind? Did you deal with addiction, whether it was personally or through your family? What did you deal with? And ask yourself, how is it that I'm going to make this thing worth it? How am I going to make this thing worth it? All the trouble that I've been through, all the problems, y'all. How can I make it worth it? Right? What is the hero story? This is one thing I love about the Bible. The Bible is filled with case studies of people that have amazing hero stories. We see it with all of our greats. How many of y'all remember Serena Williams and Venus Williams back in the day when they were the girl with the braids and beads, and ESPN had all the cameras in their faces and everything, and everyone was trying to get them to doubt themselves. All they wanted to talk about was the fact that they were from Compton, growing up in this, growing up in poverty. How did y'all do this? There were gangs around or whatever. Can we just talk about how great these young ladies are? Right? How many of you guys saw that? Isn't that ridiculous? But it doesn't matter, because now we've seen the great hero story. So let's make it worth it. Let's make it worth it. And I'm going to even say this, let's make it worth it this year. We already see where the world is. If you're waiting for the world to be at peace, if you're waiting for the world, to calm down, if you're waiting for situations to be perfect, if you're waiting for any of those things, friend, you're going to be waiting forever. You're going to be waiting forever. You're going to be like Miss Haversham. Any of you guys read that book, Great Expectations, or see the movie with Miss Haversham? And she was sitting in the house and she had gotten jilted. She got left at the altar, and she was sitting in the house with that old wedding dress on that she'd had on for 30, 40 years. And there was dust everywhere. She never moved the wedding cake. She never did anything. She put a stick in the ground from that trauma, and she never moved past it. Make it worth it. Let's say the first marriage didn't work out. Tell us what is the next one going to be like? Make it worth it. Are you going to have some pictures in a story that's going to make them sick and be like, you know what? Look, they told me I was going to be alone. I'll never find anyone. I never do this. I never do that. Woo, 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 woo. And you're just sitting there just doubling down on it. I guess I'm never going to be fine. I'm going to be by myself forever. I can't believe this. No, you can't be like that, friend. The hero story. God always has a hero story for everyone. How are you going to make that scenario worth it? Thank you for the like. Somebody feeling it. Thank you, user 76. Why don't y'all put some type of name on there? It don't have to be a real name, but put some type of name on there, right? How are you going to make sure that you have some sort of hero story? How are you going to do it? Because if you partner with God, what isn't available to you? What isn't available to you? We're living in a time now where all the resources are there. We're getting our own way. You could do almost anything for $2. Social media is free. I pay nothing to get on here with y'all. I pay nothing. I pay nothing to get on here with y'all. You can literally do almost anything for $2. What is preventing the process? What is preventing you from just stepping up and stepping out? And if any of you guys, have some questions about business, things like that, let me know. You can put a request in to join the multi-guest, to tune in. But, the purpose of today's live is to do a few different things. The first thing is, I have been called in this season to help people remove the spiritual and the mental and the strategic boundaries that are holding them back. The mental the spiritual and strategic boundaries. What are they? And I'm going to start off with some of these things because the easiest is the strategic. The hardest part is getting around the mental, spiritual, and emotional things that are getting in the way. So what are some of these things? What are some of these things? We'll start off with some of the mental battles. The first mental, and actually this one's a mental and a spiritual battle and boundary. The first one is unforgiveness. First one's unforgiveness. Yeah, who thought I was going to say that? The first one's unforgiveness. Now we're going to start off with the first person that you need to forgive, which is yourself. Y'all, you wouldn't know the number of talented, creative, beautiful, well-spoken, smart enough, idea-filled, anointed, great character. I don't even know what that word is, but good people who are not moving ahead in life and who are stuck at a standstill because they have not forgiven themselves for the things that happened a day ago, 5 days ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I met someone on live last week, 15 years ago. They're still mad and upset about situations that occurred 7 years ago. And everything that I teach you, y'all, because we're not going to be like hypocrites, everything that I teach you, you got to use on yourself first. Y'all ever know people who go and get 5,000 years worth of therapy just so they can talk about other people, but they don't use an ounce of the therapy that they received on themselves? It's like, hold on. You learn all this stuff about mental health and all this other stuff just for you to still be half crazy? If you know all it is about mental health, you know every diagnosis, you can diagnose a narcissist. Why have you not diagnosed yourself, friend? So I'm saying that because we're not going to be like the world. We're not going to be hypocritical. Everything that we learn, we're going to start off on ourselves first. It's very common. Why? Truly Brighter. Why is that so common? If you know everything about mental health, why are you still half crazy? Why have we not been healed yet? I know I've seen it where people know everything about deliverance, full of demons. Know everything about the Lord, full of demons. Full of demons. Y'all, let me tell you. Before I talk about, I'm gonna bring this out so y'all can see. And if y'all are here and y'all didn't know I was in ministry, you know now. I'm in the marketplace, but still. Before I go through this with anybody else, right? Maybe the spirit is Jezebel. I'll be the first person I'm gonna do a prayer about Jezebel over is myself. I'm gonna be like, look, okay, so Jezebel's about control and embraces the spirit of deception, pride, rebellion, and perversion. Okay, Lord, am I showing some control issues? Do I have some issues with control? Am I out here deceiving people? Is it pride? Let me review. Am I being prideful? Since, we run from discomfort. What's really discomfort? Losing season after season after season after season. I feel like discomfort is taking L's all the time. There's nothing that makes me feel more uncomfortable than taking L's back to back to back to back to back to back. And y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I've had those Detroit Lions seasons in life. And where I take so many L's, I'm like, you know what? We done. Y'all, I've had those Detroit Lions seasons. I don't know, maybe Detroit's are good. If y'all from Detroit now, y'all know I went to U of M. Okay. So I love Detroit. I love Michigan. I'm from Atlanta, but I love it. But they're Atlanta too, Falcons too, where you just take L after L after L after L after L after L after L. But see, the Falcons will win some games. The Lions used to lose all the games in the season and not even make it to nobody playoff. They just lose in the regular season games. That's what they used to be like. There is nothing to me more uncomfortable We're constantly having losing seasons in life because I won't confront the things in my life that's going to allow me to win. At a certain point, after you take so many losses, you might be like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get in shape. Let me just get in shape. Ain't that right, YouTube? Why don't I just get in shape? Today I put on my suit pants and I said, I got to wear regular clothes. I put on my suit pants. I said, hold on, these kind of tight. And I just told myself, okay, you've been skipping a few workouts, been going out to eat. We about to live, our fork is about to be real consecrated. Because I'm not, yup, right. This fork is about to be very consecrated because I'm not going to the store and buying a whole lot of things. Yes, fear and deception is something else. It is. And so now this is the part that's dangerous, is that we live, hello, thank you, Kenneth. We live in a society to where we can go through losing seasons, but because so many people are as well, and because there's so many forms of escapism, that you can literally close your eyes to the fact that things are not really working out. But there's still part of you, right, that understands this isn't the road that I'm supposed to be on. This isn't the road that I'm supposed to be on. I'm supposed to be out here winning. God did not resurrect on the third day so I can just be out here still rolling in the mud with pigs. No, we're not going through Old Testament stuff. No, we have power. We have all of these things. But yeah, I'll go. Look, before I take anyone through deliverance, I'm reading this to myself, put my hand on my own heart. In the name of Jesus, I confess as sins everything I've ever done to manipulate, dominate, and to control other people. I renounce Jezebel spirits and claim deliverance in the name of Jesus. Because Jesus died on the cross for my sins, it became a curse for me, blotting out the handwriting and ordinance which were against me. I declare every curse having to do with Jezebel spirits to be broken from whatever source, even going back 15 generations on both sides. Y'all, I go through that for myself first. Because how can I be expecting to help heal other people on their journey if I haven't taken myself through the journey? So everything that I teach you guys begins with you using this on yourself, so that way you can get you over there. Why is this important? Some of you guys are like Noah, meaning your family's going to be saved, not because they're righteous, but because you are. Some of them just going to be loud and wrong forever. Some of them going to be loud and wrong forever. Some of them are going to be ignorant forever, willfully ignorant at that. And that's okay. That's okay. But you're the one building the ark. But the ark is within you. Within you. And all of us have directions for this year of things that we're supposed to do to build the ark in our lives and to live the life that we're supposed to live, to run the race that God put before us, not somebody else's race, to win our race. But what we have to do is get around the mental and strategic boundaries. And I'm going to name some of the first ones. So we just talked about it. One of them is forgiveness. Y'all, I meet people every single day. I coach people every single day on every level of life, to where they're trying to identify the reasons why they're stuck. Thank you so much for following, Corey. Stay tuned. They're trying all of these different things, right, to try to get ahead. I don't know why I'm stuck. And they're going, here, let me pour some more money into it. Let me, yes, right. Let me pour some more money into it. Let me hire this person. Let me do that. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me go outside and run. Maybe if I change my appearance, maybe if I go get a BBL, maybe if I get the right man, maybe if I get the right woman, maybe if I change the way that I dress, maybe when really the first thing that they need to do is to forgive themselves. Forgive themselves. Forgive themselves for past decisions. Forgive themselves for past mistakes, for past failures, for past whatever. Because you will not step out into your race because you're still upset that you lost the last one. You're still ashamed of the fact that you made a bad decision and somebody saw it. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Because the people who saw it most likely are watching from the stands. Because other people who are out here running, they're like, I understand. Like if someone comes to me and they're like, look, I made a bad decision in business. Woo, 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 woo. I lost money, XYZ. I'm like, I understand because I know what it's like. I know the process. People who are really playing at the level in which you are playing or the level in which you want to be, they get it. They get it because they've been there. The only people who can criticize you are typically those who have never played the game. They're still in the stands, settling and watching other people living vicariously through other people's lives. That's why that is why reality TV is so popular, because people want a peek into a life that they'll never live, for better or for worse. And they're living vicariously through, those people. She out here doing big things. Yeah, we out here doing big things. No, she is. You at home watching her. Because this is the thing about these phones. If something can be 10 million miles away from you, I don't know, maybe that's in the sky. But because you're watching it, it will fool you into thinking that you're doing it too. It's like secondhand smoking. It's a secondhand experience. So you're sitting there at home like, oh yeah, we doing this, we doing that. No, they are. But something in your mind, right? Because what we see, that's what we're experiencing. You in here watching it, the video comes on, the show comes on, and you feel like you're there with them, right? What we do. Just sit back and listen. He. I think it's he. Yep. He. Yeah. Sit in. So you're sitting there thinking like, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. This is what we're doing. Forgive yourself and be willing to take another risk. Y'all, I've had businesses fail, businesses to succeed, but I'm still here. And every time I start one, the next one gets stronger and stronger and stronger because I have more tools. I have more knowledge. I have more experience. I have more do this, do that, whatever. You have to be willing to forgive yourself. Remember, everything that I talk about today and how you're going to make this next season in life worth it. We're going to start off with forgiveness. We're going to start off with forgiveness. So that's point number one. All right. So y'all make sure y'all remember this. This is point number one, forgiveness. Now, the second part to forgiveness is also forgiving others. Now, I know people talk about that in church or whatever, but I know that there's sometimes I've worked with people where the reason that they're not getting ahead had nothing to do with money, not because they didn't have a good idea, not because they didn't have a good business, not because they didn't have a good personality. The reason why they are not getting to where they want is because they're still bitter about something else or someone else. You're not right. So we're at step one. Yes, forgiving and forgiving others. So you may have had a business partner that screwed you over. And the reason you're not partnering with someone now, and the reason you're not getting help now, and the reason you're not listening to anyone now, the reason you're not engaging anyone now is because you never forgave person A. They're still in your heart. And because of that, you're making foolish decisions because you're still mad at the last person. Guess what? The last person is already reaping the harvest of their decisions. But because you haven't forgiven them, you're making foolish decisions today. Decisions that are out of alignment with where you're looking to go. So you may be like praying, Lord, help me. I need some help. I need some resources or whatever. He sends you a person and you don't have any respect, honor, trust, or reverence for that person. And then you'll be sitting back mad like, God, what happened? I sent you your resources. But you never forgave John, and Tisha and Ashley and whomever. Thank you so much for sharing, Truly Brightener. God bless you. You never forgave them. And so you're still stuck because he sent you the resource in form of a person. There's been so many times where I've prayed for things and God will answer my prayer through a person, and the person had the answer, the mentorship, the resources, the network, the everything that I needed. But sometimes when we pray for a specific result or we're praying for change, the change agent comes, right? This is important. Kingdom networks and economics are not money, it's network, it's people. God's glory is in his people, in his sheep. His riches are in his sons and his daughters. So oftentimes when we pray for riches, we pray for change, we pray for deliverance, we pray for help, all this stuff, 9 times out of 10, he's going to send you a person. And within that person is the clarity, is the answer, is the partnership, is the all of these things. And he'll speak to us through a person. Why is this important? Because oftentimes we don't have the answer because we're not discerning God's voice. So he's telling us what to do, but we're not hearing it. We're just like, and another thing. And then I went over there and my rent due tomorrow. And then I got this and I lost $5,000. Then this folks told me this. So-and-so called me ugly when I got on live. So-and-so did this. Da, da, da. And we're doing all of this murmuring and complaining and all these things. And we just can't hear. So he's like, look, they're not going to hear me because I'm not about to scream over their screams. God ain't going to be like, shut up. He's not going to do that. Right? Now, I ain't gonna lie. I've had God tell me some things like, maybe if you were on time, that wouldn't have happened. But not just where he's screaming, shut up, right? So sometimes, we just can't hear. So he'll send it through a person. If you are dealing with unforgiveness, you'll miss it. You will absolutely miss it. Okay, y'all, tell me what point we're on now. So that's the first thing that's blocking the reason why this season isn't worth it, that you're not getting the most out of this season. What point are we on now, y'all? Put in the chat, what point are we on now? Point number 2. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're at point number 2 now, right? And this is how you're going to make this season worth it. Season worth it is that you have to develop trust. You've got to develop trust in 3 areas. The first place you have to develop trust in is in God. That's number 1. If God told you to do it, then you have the ability to do it. Point blank in the period. God does not send people out who do not have the equipment to hold up the call. Meaning if he says, hey, go here and do this, X, Y, Z, that means that you have the equipment. You have the basics of what it takes to get to the next level. So you just have to trust him at his word, at his decree. You have to trust him. Yes. Number 2, develop a trust in God. Everything that's truly on the table, all the poker chips, everything that's really on the table when it comes to life is trust. Trust in God. That's number 1. And trusting that he's going to do what he says he's going to do, and that he's going to set you up to succeed. God will never set you up to fail. Never. Now, he may allow you to experience failure so you can learn, but he's never going to set you up to just be a complete failure. That's just not what happens. Number 2, you have to trust yourself. You got to trust yourself. You got to trust in who you are. You've got to trust in your skills. You've got to trust in your abilities to show up and show out. You've got to be able to develop trust in yourself and what it is that you've been called to do. You've got to trust your gifts. You've got to trust that your gifts are enough, that nothing in you is lacking and missing, that you have what it takes. You have what it takes. You have to trust that you're going to do things differently this time. You have to trust yourself to be able to perform. You have to. Sometimes we because guess what? The opposite of trusting yourself is self-doubt. That's all self-doubt is. When you doubt yourself, you're really saying, I don't trust myself. And typically that comes from a place of comparison or unforgiveness. You don't trust yourself because you're still thinking you're the same you from 15 years ago. No, you went through a hardship so you can develop the character and you can develop the principle, right? I remember my first car that I got in my own name. Y'all know I let that car get repossessed. Let me tell you something your girl never did ever again since then. When she got her car back, was not paid a car payment. Y'all, I was paying that payment ahead of time. Ahead of time. Ain't nothing like going to the parking lot and seeing and your ride ain't there. I'll never forget. I think I was like maybe 22 years old. And it was the first time I ever had a car payment or anything like that. Y'all, there's nothing like a hardship that will develop a principle to live by. From that point on, I was like, look, I pay my bills first and I live off the extra. You know, I take care of my savings, all of those things first, and I live off of what's left. So going through those types of hard times is really just developing your character, and that's where your life principles come from. It's not supposed to be evidence of your unworthiness. That's it. It was just meaning to develop your character and to develop the principles that you're supposed to live by. That's what that does. The third thing that you have to trust in, you have to trust in other people. You do have to trust in other people. There has to be something there. You got to trust your audience. You have to trust your employees. You got to trust your team members. You got to do whatever. Now, let me tell you what trust does not mean. Trust does not mean that they're going to get it perfect each time. That's not what it means. Trust doesn't mean that they're never going to mess up. That's not what that means. Trust means that you're willing to allow them to contribute what it is that they can contribute at this time towards the cause. That they have something to give and that they're going to give that. And what you do is you develop systems around that to make sure that there are checks and balances. Meaning if something is off course, you'll catch it before it's devastating. Because most of the time, if you get in a situation to where someone just has a huge breach of trust, they really just have this huge breach of trust to where you're like, I can't believe they did me like that. It's very likely that you did not have systems and boundaries in place to double check, just as a safeguard. Just as a safeguard. Now, this is the thing about boundaries that allows you to trust people. What you do is you put them in place before the person ever comes. So let's say right now in this season, it may not be about a business. Maybe this season is about relationships and you reconnecting with the outside world. What you have to do is you put boundaries in place before you bring the people in. So a boundary is not a brick wall that keeps all people out. Boundaries just says, hey, this is where I am. And hey, you can come all the way up to this fence. Now, here's something that allows you, and here's the technique that you can use. What's up, Billy? What's up, Zoe? Thank you for liking the live, right? Here's a great thing about boundaries. I want you to think about this in three areas, okay? And this is the same way that the Lord had the old temple, all right? So we're not getting Old Testament with that, but I love the concept because we're not omnipresent and we're not omnipotent. So we still need to have some sort of boundaries, okay? So you have three areas. You have the outer court, the inner court, and the holiest of holies. So the outer court is like, look, just about anybody can come to the outer court. Hey, girl. Hey, Yannick, how you doing? Yeah, girl, can I hit you up on Instagram? Yeah, we chatting. We talking about business, talking about life. I may tell them about, I went to this elementary school. Girl, what you used to do? I used to play basketball, but I left doing that stuff. And I started focusing mostly on music. I played classical music. I play viola, I still love to play guitar. I still love doing all these things with music. Oh, for real, girl? Yeah, I was really big, into acting. And, I was in plays, I was in dance, or I played basketball, I did whatever, right? That's the outer court. That's out of court. That's not a big deal. And if I don't know you like that, I don't mind us interacting within the outer court. And so, because the boundaries there, I don't have to worry about trust. Because when you're in the outer court, I'm not giving you my life secrets. I'm not sharing, I'm not oversharing with you things that only my trusted confidants should know. I'm not giving you the keys to my house. I'm not giving you the keys to my car. You're not going to have the keys to my phone. You're not going to have my passwords. You're not going to know the inner workings of my household. You're not going to know where I do business. You're not going to have all of my business contacts. You're not going to do the things that I will only give to the trusted individuals. So what that means is if I work with you on that capacity, then there's no reason I shouldn't trust you, because I am handing you information based upon the part of the court that you're supposed to dwell in. Yes, it is protection and it is respect, right? And also, it's not just for my protection. Everyone's not in a place to handle the inner workings of me, and nor should everyone should. Any of you guys ever go into a place and someone just emotionally vomits on you, and you're like, I'm already dealing with my own anxiety. What makes you think I can carry that with you? Why are you telling about, whatever? Unless it's a cry for help, a true cry for help. Like, friend, you just came and dumped all your trauma on me. And I had a panic attack this morning at 10 a.m. So it's not just for you, it's also for them. So that's the outer court. Anybody can go out there, play basketball, high five, whatever. Then you have the inner court. So that may be some of my closer friends, right? So usually your inner court may be, maybe have 3, to 5 good friends. That's your inner court. So that's the people that you may be a little bit more vulnerable with. Just a little bit more. Maybe you allow them on the cash register. Maybe they can take a check to the bank. Their name isn't on there, but they can drop it off. Their name's not on the account. They can't see any information, but we're just testing. You just give them a little, you're giving them a little bit more of yourself. Yeah, girl, sometimes I do deal with anxiety. Yeah, sometimes I do deal with, I deal with this, I deal with that. Yeah, I had a rough time. Maybe you give them a little bit more of your childhood. Yeah, my parents were divorced. I went through a challenging childhood with this and that. I dealt with some loneliness, and you're giving them a little bit more information, right? So this is someone where you're bringing them in, and they're in the inner court. So they know about you. Maybe they can visit you. Yes, it is earned and tested. Yeah, maybe they can visit you. Maybe you guys, go to brunch and you talk, and maybe they meet some of your family members. You might invite them over to a barbecue, what have you. That's the inner court. So that's another set of boundaries, to where the person's been there a while, and you're able to say, here's the keys to this. I'm gonna let you into this, and they've proven something, and they've demonstrated some consistency. They've demonstrated consistency. And then this is when right? Let's say you share something with someone in your inner court. How long does it take for that information to get out? Does it never get out? Or is it like as soon as you talk to them, they talk to somebody else about it? So I'm like, girl, I heard you was going through. Other ways of knowing whether or not someone should be in the inner court is, do you hear them gossip about other people? Do you hear them telling other people's business? Do you know everything about their other friend? All the inner workings of their other friend? Because here's the thing. If they're gossiping and telling somebody else's business, what makes you think they're not telling yours? What makes you think you're that good? No. Why? Because gossiping is a spirit. Spirits are not choosy. That spirit of gossip and jealousy, right? And think about it. When it comes to gossip, right? Gossip thrives in secrecy. That's hidden, right? Gossip thrives in hidden. Like, oh, I'm not going to let you know. One of my favorite things to do when someone's gossiping and they call me, so-and-so said this and they was saying that, I'll hit that add contact, add somebody? Oh, okay, cool. Let me call them real quick. Boop, boop. Hey, I got so and so on the line. I know they said, they were telling me that They all here. Tell me what's up. Boy, when I'm telling you, when I used to do that to people, I stopped getting those phone calls. When I started three-waying people in, adding them to the line. Oh, they said what? Okay, look, cool. Hello, Ashley, you there? Yeah, girl. Jessica was just here telling me that you had some questions about what was happening yesterday. I just wanted to fill you in and see, and just to ask you what questions you were, because I wanted there to be complete clarity about where we are in this process. Oh no, girl, I didn't have that. And then the other person's like, well, what I had meant to say was, y'all, I haven't gotten one of those phone calls in years. I haven't got one of those phone calls in years and years. Like, y'all, that is one of the best ways to clear up that. You hear me? So then we're in the third portion of that court, okay, which is the holiest of holies. Now, in the old temple in Israel, thank you so much, Empowerment Coach. God bless you. In old Israel, right, in the temple, for someone to be in the holiest of holies, they had to be a high priest. So if you go to a temple, there may be priests all around, Pharisees, Sadducees, whatever. But when you get into the holiest of holies, you had to be a high priest. If you were not, thank you so much, Empowerment Coach. God bless you. If you were not a high priest, you cannot be in the holiest of holies. You will lose your life. You're going to fall out dead. Don't go past that boundary. So there are certain people in your life that can be in the holiest of holies. Most people, we only have one or two people in our lives that can be in the holiest of holies. And these are the people that have been consistent. And I ain't talking about consistent for a day or two. These are the people that have been consistent since day one. Been in your life 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. And they've been the same through and through for that same amount of time. You can trust them. You can do all of those things. What's up, Juju? Right? Those are the people that you bring into the holiest of holies. The reason why some of you guys don't trust anyone is because you're too quick to bring people into the holiest of holies. And you're dealing with a lot of unforgiveness, not because everybody did you wrong, because you're too quick to bring people into the holiest of holies in your life. They're not trusted. They haven't been tested, literally and figuratively. They haven't gone through anything with you. They haven't demonstrated consistency. You haven't even come close to knowing who these people are, and you're dealing with shame, guilt, condemnation, unforgiveness, and trauma, not because the person was all that bad, because you brought the wrong person into the holiest of holies without them being through anything, without them having proven anything to you. And so you're waiting until the person gets close up to figure out what it is who they are. They're too close by then, friend. You let the robber in the house. You were supposed to figure out that person liked to steal way before you got to the house. You were supposed to know that they like to steal when y'all at the restaurant, and they told the people at the restaurant that they wanted water, and they filled it up with 5,000 different types of sodas. That was your first sign that they like to steal. Some of y'all like, ooh, is that me? Yes, it's stealing. It ain't but $1. Well, if it ain't but $1, why you ain't pay it? It's only $2. They ain't gonna miss it. Well, you ain't gonna miss it then. If it ain't but $2, why you ain't pay it? Why do you want a curse to be on your wallet over $2? God said, look, I will not be mocked. You will reap what you sow, even if it's for $2. Right? Sometimes I just don't want to be in a position to be reaping that type of harvest, right? Not over something. We're gonna make it worth it. No. So that's the thing. You were supposed to figure out what that person's character was like when they were in the outer court, and somewhat when they were in the inner court. But a lot of the stuff you would have found out if you would have just let them be in the outer court for just a little bit longer. You would have learned that they like to lie. because you would have watched a lie to somebody else. Hold on. You just lied. You just lied about something stupid. If someone will lie about something stupid, they'll lie about something big, friend. So that's why we have to let those things go and come to a place of accountability to where, you know what? So and so may have done me wrong, but they had no business in the holiest of holies in the first place. They had no business in the holiest of holies in my life in the first place. And I'm releasing them because I needed to learn that lesson. And I needed to learn it the hard way. And then, hey, I release you from that because I didn't know enough about your character to bring you into the holiest of holies. I didn't know you well enough to give you a key to my house. I didn't know you well enough to get the password. I didn't know you well enough. I didn't know you well enough to share the inner workings of my soul. Right? And guess what? Because if you don't know them well enough, they also shouldn't know you well enough either. If they just jump right on in, I'm weird. When I notice other people don't have boundaries, I'm like, This is a two-way street. If I can get in that quick, I'm just like, the other person probably got in that quick too. So this is why you have to learn how to trust people. It is okay to trust people as long as you're willing to put up those boundaries. So this is one of the best ways and the easiest ways for you guys to make sure that this season is worth it. You're going to be able to partner with people, right? And y'all tell me what was number one? What was step number one to making sure that you make this season worth it? You're going to get the most out of life in this season. And you're going to do more in this year, this season of life, in the next few months than you have in the past few years because you're following some basic steps. Somebody write in the chat what step number one was. Put it in there. What was step one? So I can make sure y'all are paying attention. Forgiveness, absolutely, right? Hey, Singing Swords, you just joined. That's okay. So we're going to do that. So step number one to making sure you get the most out of this season in life is forgiveness. You're going to forgive yourself and you're going to forgive others. Just because you failed that one time doesn't mean you don't jump in this race. You know, one thing I loved about watching the Olympic track runners, as I said, these people have been running these races their whole life. Some they lose, some they win, some they do this, that, and the third. But every single person that you saw in some form or fashion has won some races. And they didn't quit just because they lost one. You win some, you lose some. Isn't that on Friday? Right? Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you lose. You get to wake up for another day. So forgiveness. Forgive yourself and forgive others. 2, you have to trust people. Anywhere you're going that doesn't require anyone else to help you is not big enough. If you can do it all yourself, you're settling. If you can do everything yourself, you're not dreaming big enough. Like, I'm sitting here like, Lord, I need an assistant. You're going to have to send somebody. I'm asking, I'm praying, Lord, send the people. Let me know who they are. What positions do I need to fill? Because if you can do it all on your own, it's not big enough. Some of you guys have corporations in you, organizations in you, nonprofits in you. And you say, I just want to help somebody. No, you got a nonprofit in you. You're talking about helping somebody. You're supposed to be turning around the whole community. You've got a legacy nonprofit in you. So you're supposed to be helping generations of young boys, young girls, dogs, whatever it is, right? It's not just about that one. You have a whole generation, a whole community in you. And so if you can do it by yourself, it's not big enough. You're not dreaming big enough. All right, let's get into number 3. Number 3, the puppies. Yeah, there are people who do rescues for dogs and cats, and I have 2 dogs that came from a rescue. They're sitting in my office floor right now, sleeping and snoring. The small one snoring. Joy to our family. Because don't let baby girl get home and one of these dogs not here. talk about hooping and hollering. It'd be some hooping and hollering in this house. Mess around, let one of these dogs not be here. Something happened to one of these dogs. Okay, number 3, you have to identify patterns. This is the portion that most people get caught up in. This is the portion where we tend to get stuck, because this is the portion that we often disregard, and we often want to do this. Lord, I want to get better in life, but I don't want to look at it. I just don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. A big part of my job. Thank you so much, Singing Swords. And y'all stay. We got 5 points. We have 5 points today. A big part of my job. Thank you so much for following Singing Swords. I appreciate you. A big part of my job is helping people to identify patterns, identify cycles, because everything that we are looking to do tends to happen in a cycle. And that cycle can be a daily cycle. Some cycles are every 6 months. Some cycles are every year. Some cycles are every 2 years. Sometimes it's 5 every 10, right? But it's a cycle. And if you want to get ahead, typically it will require for you to identify and stop and redirect whatever pattern and cycle is in your life. Because not all patterns are bad. You can be in a making money pattern. What's up, Luther? You can be a making money pattern. We're like, you know what? Every time I do something like this, I make $1 million. Every time I get this feeling, any of you guys ever been in that place where you just get this feeling like, whoo, every time I get this feeling, I know this idea is going to work. Right? Or every time somebody call you, thank you so much, Empowerment Coach. Every time a certain person sees you or they call you, you get that feeling. You're like, hold on. Oh, I know what this feels like. Something about to happen, friend. Something is about to happen. I appreciate you. God bless you. Right? So there can be positive patterns. But then we have patterns, negative patterns and cycles in our life, right? In the spirit realm, we call them demonic patterns, right? And in the natural, we call them vicious cycles. But either way, they have to be stopped. So the first thing you have to do is identify them. Think about the things in your life that you're unhappy with, right? Or the things that let you down, the things that made you, crawl back in, the things that made you hide, the things that made you get frustrated, the things that made you shut down, the things that made you embarrassed, the things where you felt like you were foolish, all those things that give you those icky feelings, right? We'll start there. Exactly. Stop. Thank you so much. What are those things that made you feel like that? What did those things have in common? Sometimes people have dating patterns. Y'all, you could be the smartest person in the world. You could be the most creative. You can be a great leader. If you consistently pick the wrong relationships in your life, nothing else in your life will thrive. Because the wrong person will always feel like they're in competition with you. The wrong person will always feel like they're in competition with your destiny. The wrong person is like the devil. The devil wants you to take your eyes off of God and pay attention to him, right? The wrong person will always make you want to take your eyes off the prize. And then when you have your eyes on the prize, they're going to try to make you feel bad for it. What are those patterns? Type in the chat if you've experienced this. I'm going to go ahead and type in, I have, right? Certainly. Let me go ahead and put it on there. Certainly so. Right? Trauma is the root for it all. You come in here. Last time you called me a Lebanese woman. Now you're saying I'm a Albanian woman. I know I have some friends from Albania, and when I go to New York, they bring me to the Albanian neighborhood, to all the Albanian coffee shops and all the Albanian restaurants. So I'll be a proud Albanian, right? I'm put the little, I think it's a dragon. I can't remember what's on the Albanian flag. I think it's a dragon. Anyway, no, it's something. You have absolutely, right? And what you want to do is you want to look at what was the pattern. Typically, how do I feel when I meet these people? What is it that I'm looking for? What's their personality type? Where do I meet these people? What's usually going on in my head? Do I meet these people whenever I'm in a space when I'm feeling lonely? when I'm feeling down on myself, when my self-confidence is low. Because let me tell you, oh, he says, I'm from New York. Oh, so you've been to the Albanian neighborhoods too? Where everybody have a BMW? Y'all, I'm an international person, so I can hang out anywhere, even in the Albanian neighborhoods in the Bronx, y'all. I've been there, sitting outside at the cafe, eating, drinking coffee with all the Albanians. BMWs and all, right? Uh-oh. Okay. So think about what that's like. And you go back and you just really say, okay, so and so, this person, what do these people have in common? What was a common thread or theme in my life, right? Oh Lord, I got something in my teeth. What's a common thread or theme in my life that allowed me to meet people at that space? What was it? And then what you do is you put that together and you discover the pattern. Like, you know what? Anytime I meet these people, it's usually after a bad breakup. After a bad breakup, y'all, I'm gonna use a little piece of paper. After a bad breakup, I always end up going out to the club and trying to find somebody that'll make me feel better about the breakup. Look, I tried to get it. Let me get this mirror right here. I'm not going nowhere. Ah, there we go. Oh, that was in my teeth for real. Okay, good. Because that was going to bother me. But what are those things like? Because that makes a huge, huge difference. Look at my dog. Come here, Bruno. Come here. That makes a huge, huge difference. Right? What are the patterns and cycles? Figure out what those things are. Right? Do you get anxious whenever you see things going in the wrong direction? I know people that they'll be doing something, and if they take one loss, they change everything. If they just see things go down just a little bit, they start freaking out. We got to change this. We got to change this. Blah, blah, blah. And they make too many alterations to their plans. And when they start making all those changes to their plans, they just mix everything up, meaning they can't stay consistent with anything. If anything happens negatively, do you quit? If you take a loss at all, do you quit? Do you emotionally shut down if you have conflict? Ooh, that's a big one. Let's talk about that one for a while. Some of you guys have great ideas. You can have a great life, but you got to learn how to handle conflict. You got to learn how to handle conflict. Point blank in the period. Everything's not going to be peachy all the time. People come with problems. They come with conflict. Do you shut down and you stop everything just because you get so tired of dealing with it? Now, here's the thing. If you have trouble dealing with conflict, a lot of times it does come from childhood issues. To where, I noticed I used to shut down a lot when it came to conflict. And I realized that was the same thing that I did as a child, that I just shut down. Now, for me, typically when I would just shut down, everyone would leave me alone. Okay, I'll just leave you alone. And it was a control technique. That's how I controlled my environments. If I just shut down and didn't say anything, then I'd learn that people would leave me alone. Do you know that doesn't work in the real world? Right? Or on the opposite end, I also learned that for some people, they either leave me alone or some people lean in. Are you sure? Are you okay? Let me just sit here and hold your hand. And you shut down because you like the different ego stroking that goes along with shutting down. They're just various forms of manipulation. And sometimes it's just because you may have learned that conflict was bad. Let's say you grew up in a house where people were always arguing, fussing. Maybe there was violence and things like that, to where those scenarios where you grew up in environments that had a lot of conflict, or maybe you grew up in a place of the world that was a high conflict area. You may have learned, thank you so much, Brinva. God bless you. You may have learned that conflict means destruction. Because sometimes people will see conflict and something in them says destruction's coming next. Let me run. But there is a certain thing of healthy conflict. I want to tell you guys something that I learned in couples therapy. And if you are married or you plan on getting married or you want to get married, I hope you are open to couples therapy. One of the main signs of people who are going to get divorced. Do y'all know what it is? Somebody type in the chat if you know the answer. What is one sign, a strong sign, that it's very likely a couple's going to get divorced? Just what comes to your mind. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. And also, let me get my likes up real quick. I know this information is good. I would love to get married, but it's not happening. Don't say it's not happening. You don't know what's going to happen, friend. And let me tell you, if you say it's not happening, you're going to be the first one in line. Lack of communication. Someone said money, right? Close, shutting down. That is one of them. Trust, lack of trust. Do you know the number one sign that people are going to get divorced? How they fight is usually when they don't argue at all. When couples never argue, they never have any conflict. There's never any rub. There's never anything. Think about it. Now, I don't know. Maybe some of y'all some angels, but who do you know that get and I don't care if this person's amazing. Who do you know that gets along with someone all the time? When you never argue and you never have conflict, usually one or more parties are holding back, are pretending. Someone's being inauthentic. Now, that doesn't mean your fighting got to be, throwing bows, exactly. 32 years. Exactly. You've been married for 32 years. Even the best couple is going to have a Harry. Now, Harry, don't you start that stuff again. Right? Okay, Bullet. You guys stay. You make sure you follow me because we gonna even out some of that toxicity, okay? Because I know Cardi B said they love a toxic chick, and I know a lot of men like toxic people, okay? It's okay. You like what you like. We just gonna balance it out. Because that's what I love. There's somebody for everybody. Ladies, if you got an attitude, Bullet said he ready and available. If you like to argue, he is ready and available. Isn't that crazy, right? But there's some people that like crazy stuff. Okay, I'm just saying. I do believe that there's somebody for everybody. Okay, there is somebody for everybody. Okay, ain't no way. Ain't finding an arguing woman. I don't know what you're fine. Okay, I think I get what you mean. Okay, but there is somebody for everybody, right? But one of the number one signs that someone is going to get divorced, a couple's going to get divorced, is that they never argue because no one's being real. No one is working on the relationship. No one's saying, well, when you did this, you kind of made me feel blah, blah, blah. I felt like that was passive aggressive. Let's talk about that because it's through there's forms of conflict, healthy forms of conflict that allow us to come together and get to a resolution. It's when you bring about the issues. It's the bad review that makes you say, okay, maybe I need to change, right? But without providing that feedback, without just that little bit of people expressing themselves, expressing how they feel, how are y'all even getting to know each other? I used to have company meetings and say, hey, everyone write down on a piece of paper something that you feel like we need to do as an organization that we're not doing. Where are we messing up? And I have people just write it on a piece of paper. Don't put your name on it. Put it in a box. I'm going to read it out. And what we would do is have one of these meetings once a quarter and everyone reads through it. And I'm just like, okay, hey, let's put a line. Raise your hand if you think if this is correct. Okay. 15 out of 15 people raise their hand. Clearly, this is an issue. Okay, cool. When we move on and we move on until we address those things in order. And what that promoted was us evolving. So when it comes to you discovering cycles and patterns, are you at the point to where you're settled and you're stuck because you're avoiding conflict, or anytime anything negative happens, you run away? I felt like that hit a nerve with somebody. I can feel it. That hit a nerve with somebody. You avoiding conflict is also making you avoid your destiny, because you're going to have to go through some conflict. Right? Oh Lord, yeah. Stay away from the parasitic relationships. But so those are some of the things that you're going to have to go through. So are you avoiding conflict? What are the patterns? So if you receive conflict, do you quit? Right? If life gets too noisy, do you disengage? Yeah, I just feel like I need to take a break. There's arguing at home. There's this going on, and my mama got sick. Now I'll tell you, there is a time where you have to take time for self-care. But y'all, let me tell you, this is how you know you are on the right path. You know you're on the right path to where every time you start that thing, out of nowhere, suddenly there's warfare. You can do everything else in the world. You can start your little t-shirt business. You can bake some cookies, sell plates. You can go to this other job. You can go back to school. You can go do all this. But every time it's time for you to do that one thing that's been on your heart for a year, 5 years, 10, 20, 30, or whatever, all hell just busts wide open. Hell just busts wide open. It seems like you getting an attack from this. Suddenly you get a surprise bill from the IRS. You started that thing, your kids start acting up in school. Your husband starts, doing this. So your wife starts doing this. Suddenly, there's just issues in your neighborhood. A pipe break at the house. This goes down, this goes down, this goes down. Friend, it is a sign that you are on the right path. Anytime you start pursuing the promise of God on your life, there's going to be some sort of warfare around it. And it's just low level and high level. And the bigger the promise, the bigger the warfare. And do you know what that is? All it is the enemy rattling the fence. I'm just so, don't you be doing that. Don't go in now. That's all it is. He's rattling on the fence, but he can't get in. And eventually, if you do this long enough, I don't care how long you beat at the door, friend, you don't have the key. You don't have the key. Jesus got me. If God be for me, who can be against me? But some of you guys, as soon as he started doing this right here, you're like, let me stop. Maybe it's a sign from God. If God already put it in your heart, right? If God already put, I'm not a mild spirit. You should look at me. Look at me presenting properly. He said, I'm a mild spirit. I need to get my husband up here on this live so he can be like, who, Harpo? Who is a mild spirit? Y'all, I've had to learn over the years how to tone down, because I realize everyone else doesn't live their life at a level 12 out of 10. So I've learned how to not do the most just so I don't scare the others. Just so I don't scare the others. Because the others ain't ready. But yeah, some of y'all, as soon as you hear this outside your house, you be like, oh, everybody be quiet. Everybody duck. When you hear that rattle, you're supposed to go to the door and be like, who is that? Shut up. Who is that? Stop it. Everybody quiet down. It's a sign that you're on the right path. Why? The promise on your life is also going to be the area that has the highest reward, right? An entrepreneur is someone who organizes a business at a higher risk, a higher financial risk than everyone else. Remember, God is the one who establishes the order of everything, right? The prophets are the ones that took the highest risk. Moses had to go and speak to Pharaoh before the people even came. He had to go. Look, we let my people go. And then the people got to leave, right? So those are the individuals that are willing to take the risk. Don't run when you hear the rattling. They can shake at the gate, they can beat at the door, but they can't get in. And if they can't get in, ask yourself, is there something that is living? Am I living in a way that's unrighteous that gives the enemy a key to my house? As long as he ain't got a key, let him rattle. Right. And because let me tell you this, people, we're the only one that fights battles with no spoils. We're the only ones. We are the only ones that fight battles with no spoils. Y'all, I'm not getting into nothing that don't have a reward. We'll be in there arguing online with people. Y'all, we're on TikTok. We see it all the time. I don't have no dog in this fight, and I don't have anything to win. If there's no spoils for me, this battle is not yours. It is the Lord's. It ain't my battle unless I can clearly see, look, this blessing is on the other side, outside of me. Let me just go ahead and fight this fight. But if I don't see this battle ain't mine, that might be yours, friend. Is that your battle? Bruno, is that your battle? Bruno is asleep. Bruno don't have no battles in life. And he's wagging his tail and staring at me and snoring. He don't have no battles. He's like, I don't see no squirrels around here. So, right? So if there is one of those things to where if it's not your battle, don't go. Don't go unless you've been sent. Point blank in the period. So just because you hear that rattling, right, doesn't mean that you run away. It's a sign that you're probably heading in the right direction. And think about it. We hear those hero stories. I started off on my kitchen counter. I had $5 left. Rent was due the next day. Whoa, 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 whoa. Bam, 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 bam. Now, one of the great signs that is something that God is in is there can be warfare, but the thing still comes. It still comes. Right? One thing that maybe this person did this, and next thing, the next day, somebody like, girl, you need that. Boy, you need. Somebody told me you need a location. You know, somebody just canceled on me yesterday. Right? Why? God said, look, my word will not return void. Meaning, I don't care how much they shake at the gate. Whatever I said is final. The only way that thing becomes no longer final is if you stop engaging. You quit. That's the only way. So what are the patterns and cycles? Right before you're about to start that thing, right before you're about to heal, right before you're about to get around the corner, right? Right when you're at the edge of like, oh, it's here. What always happens? Type it in the chat. What's the thing that always happens? I'm going to show you guys how to identify the patterns. What's the thing? For some of you, it's offense. Somebody offends you, so you quit. I ain't got to take this. That's that face y'all make too. I ain't got to take this. I don't have to listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. How dare they say this? I don't have to be treated like this. No, friend, you're dealing with the spirit of offense. The devil got you on a chain. Anytime you get too far, all he got to do is yank the chain of offense. Go ahead, make them offended. Hurt them little feelings. They never healed anyway. They never dealt with their childhood trauma. So I'm just going to yank this chain a little bit, make somebody say something halfway crossways, and that spirit of offense going to kick in. They're going to blow it up. They're going to make it 10 times bigger than what it was. They're going to get offended. They're going to disengage. Too easy. You don't even have to, you're making it too easy. If all somebody has to do to get you to quit is to give you a couple of words, write something bad about you, raise their voice, something like that, and you completely disengage, Because I'm gonna look at you like, don't ever talk to me like that again. And the whole meeting, we're gonna be looking like this. We're gonna be looking like y'all on YouTube too. We're gonna be looking like this the whole meeting. Then don't let it be a day two to the meeting. I'm gonna put on some real blankers. I'm gonna put some real blinking lashes on to make sure you can see. It might put me some white eyeliner right here just so you can be like, because you're gonna have to look at me every day. You're gonna have to look at me every day. Now I'm questioning everything. I'm not sure if let's double check these figures real quick and pull out my calculator. No, friend. You're not gonna get me to run away from that. Right? So is it, I think this is one of my cousins, Homer Dukes, 60, maybe. So, do you normally get offended? Is that your yoke? Is that your ball and chain as offense? All I gotta do is offend you. Y'all, that is the simplest way to take somebody out the race, right? You ever see someone that they just poke someone? They just poke them. I'm leaving. Good. We ain't want you here in the first place. Let me just poke the bear real quick so we can get you out we can get you out the race early through your offense, right? Do you always get offended? Is the pattern rejection? As soon as someone gives you a bit of criticism, you run away. They don't like me. So I went on live and someone called me ugly. Y'all, get up. Right? Get over it. Let God work on your heart. Y'all, let me tell you, I went through a consecration period with the Lord. It was for about a year or more. He always prepares you for your journey. So don't ever run away from those periods. And because of that, and because I let him heal me, and because I let him fill me up and give me my confidence and all of those different things, which is what we're going to do in September. We're going to work on those things. That it's so hard to rattle me. It's so hard. It's so hard. Most of the time I just laugh. Some of y'all been on here before with me. People just say crazy stuff. Why your head shaved? Because it's hot. What's up, R&M Craft and Decor? Nice to see you. Because it's hot, right? Let God heal you so you can get to that point. So is it rejection? Maybe all people have to do is give you an ounce of rejection. Anything. They just got to say no or say, I don't think that idea is good. This is how you know that you're dealing with rejection. You get an idea and you feel like you have to get approval from 500 people before you do it. No one can criticize it in any way. If they criticize it in any way, you're not going to do it. That's how you know you deal with rejection. I don't know. Do you think this is a good idea? You need someone else to make up your mind for you. I'm going to see what they say. Now, it's another thing. Like if I have an idea, I may run it past some trusted confidants. Hey, what do you think about this? Are there any questions I need to ask? Do you feel like this is going to be valuable to someone? And I ask people who can help me, and I ask people who have the right to give me a response in that area. Like I have a good friend of mine. She has her MBA in marketing and all this other stuff. Why wouldn't I bring my brand into her? Some of y'all are watching on YouTube. Some of this thing that you see on here, she's like, look, you need to have a call to action. That's why you see the enroll now. You see all of that stuff on there, right? I'm going to ask someone who's in branding for things like that. I'm going to. Because they have a right to answer that question. So, is it rejection? So we're at 3, right? You got to be able to identify the patterns and cycles. What is the thing that's always happening? I promise you, changing your environment does not stop the pattern. Changing your environment just brings the pattern to a new environment. Right? It brings the pattern. You've got to attack the mindsets, the strategies, the circumstances, and the things within you that are allowing that pattern to reproduce. Why? Because things reproduce after its own kind. Meaning my dog can't create a cat. So if you're seeing something that's always happening in your life, know that it's reproducing after its own kind. So when you look at that result, what part of that result is like you? This is why I know I don't even worry about having a big page and stuff like that, because everyone cannot ingest this type of thing. This is meat. This is not milk. right? This is meat. This is not milk. What's up, Good Move Food? So these are the things that they can't just tell you in business school, but that I attack with people every single day. Every single day. So what was point number 2? Anyone remember what point number 2 was? Things that you can change now to make it worth it this year, to make all of your trials, all of your experiences, all the different businesses you open, all of those things worth it this year. This is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to do it. We're going to get into number 4. You have to get into, right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Floyd. That was number 2. I just want to make sure y'all are paying attention. So what's up, Digital Marketing Queen? So here's number 4. Think about where you want to go. And you have to align your mindset, your perspective, and your habits with where you want to go. Meaning in every way you have to be that. We are not people that cannot change. We just have not found very many reasons to change. We haven't found a lot of reasons to change. But we're way more pliable than what we give ourselves credit for. Far more pliable. We can change a lot more than what we think. We absolutely can. One of the things that I hear all the time is like, I'm just not that person. Well, first off, why are you judging what that person is? That sounds a little judgmental. I'm not the kind of person who does that. Says who? You're whatever kind of person it takes to be successful, as long as you're doing it with character and with integrity. That's it. I don't really like talking to people that much. Yeah. Yes, you do. If that were the case, loneliness wouldn't be an issue right now. Right now that we have an epidemic of loneliness, right? It's not that you don't like talking to people. Good Mood Food, you missed point number 1. Somebody tell Good Mood Food what point number 1 was. Somebody put in the chat what point number 1 was. So you'll say, hey, maybe you're not the type of person that where you may not be charismatic. Like I have a charismatic personality, right? I've never met a stranger, but I started my career in sales. Do you know that everyone does not buy from charismatic people? Some people want to buy from the person that's quiet and someone that's a little bit introverted that's just going to go in, hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. Okay, well, let me just show you this. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody doesn't want the, hey, girl. Right? That's okay. So you do like to talk to people, but maybe there's something in your mind that thinks, I got to be like that. And what I'm finding is there's a lot more people that are in that mindset because we're on social media and we've created all these archetypes and idols. People who are successful in this look like that. They sound like that. They talk like that. Right? But the issue is that that's the reason why it's so flooded, is because so many people are the same. You don't know any difference. So one of the best strategies is for you not to be like those people, so you can find your audience with the people who are attracted to something different. That are attracted to whatever it is that you are. So it's really, you're putting yourself in a better position because you're going after those who were left out. The ones who weren't a part of that suite, the ones that didn't belong to that thing, that wasn't their vibe. Well, if no one steps up that's different, then all of those people who could be helped, who could be potential clients, who could be this, they're going to go untouched because the person who did match their vibe are somewhere trying to become someone that they're not. So you can't say, I'm not like that. You are who you are. And all we're going to do is develop the mindset, the patterns, and the paradigm that's in alignment with where you want to go. That's it. Hey, I'm not a worker outer. Yeah, neither am I, but I do it. Because that is in alignment with what I need to do to be able to show up in life every day and to be happy and to still be able to keep up with my daughter and to do all those things. That don't mean that I'm a bodybuilder. Y'all, look, I'm a minister. I can't be out here showing my booty and stuff. Not anymore. No. So when I work out, I can't be like, I don't look like the Instagram model. I don't plan on busting my clothes off. So stop comparing. So you have to get everything, think about where you're looking to go, and you align your habits with where you're looking to go. Stop putting yourself in a box. Here's the other thing that comes with your self-image and all these definitions. Because really, when you talk about, I'm not that kind of person, blah, 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 what you're really discussing is your self-image, and that's how you define yourself. Most of us have not even defined ourselves authentically. I would say, and for most people, the majority of their self-image has been defined by either A, what they absorbed, meaning what you observed, meaning most of us were not the black sheep of our family. Most of us just blended in so we can have peace. Very few of us were okay with being, the family weirdo. I was, but I just didn't know how not to be. And there were times where I tried to blend in and I was like, you know what? This isn't working. Everyone can see me. Everyone can see that I am a cheetah trying to act like a tabby cat, and we all see it. So now let me just stop lying so everybody can stop looking at me crazy and me look at them crazy. It's like my dog, right? I'm this big old Rottweiler. Look, y'all, this is what he's doing. Big old Rottweiler. Y'all see how huge he is? Take up the whole door frame plus some. And my mama came last week, and I have another little small dog, but she's off somewhere. And she came last week with her little Cavapoo, who's like 8 pounds. Do you know my big old Rottweiler? Those 2 small dogs, they were all cuddled up trying to play some little game or whatever. He trying to squeeze in there with them. Boy, you can't fit your big old tail on that thing. When these 2 dogs are a total of 20 pounds, if that. And you trying to squeeze in this little bitty old bed thing and play this little thing with them. You turning the thing over and all that stuff. The same as little dogs will come and get under the table and sit by your feet. He trying to sit by people's feet underneath the table. You can't even move your foot. Some of y'all are like that. So you have to be willing to align your habits. That's it. Right? Hey, I'm not a morning person. Neither am I. But I'll wake up and go get some money. I don't mean that I'm smiling and shining like everyone else. Right? Like some of y'all morning people, y'all wake up at 4 a.m. Hey! I ain't like that when I wake up. Y'all, my husband woke me up today at 5:30. He was like, let's pray. Lord, I thank you for a praying husband. First, let me start there. Lord, I thank you for a praying husband. But Lord, I thank you for a praying husband. 5:30 in the morning. 5:30. My alarm wasn't going off until 6:30. 5:30 in the morning. Hey, sit there. Oh my. I was like, yes, Lord. Yes, I'm here with you. Right? I can't even close my eyes because I might fall asleep. Right? But that doesn't mean I won't get up. So don't think that like, oh, I'm not this. Okay, but you can still do it. Right? Say, come on, time. Right? He's coming in a Honda. Okay. Let me put on my shouting shoes. Look, my dog just jumped. Don't you bite my feet. My small dog is sassy. If I do something crazy, she'll be like, stop all that noise. And she's old too. You start doing something, she'll be like, stop all that. Stop all that carrying on. She's like an old lady. She's an old church mother. That dog, you start clapping and stuff in the house, she start biting your ankles. Everybody sit down and be quiet. So anyway, she looking at me like, I will bite your feet. We in here being at peace. Okay, like this ain't my office. So anyway, so you just got to align your habits. That's it. Just do it anyway. Doesn't mean you're going to be happy, bright and shining, just like someone else who is a morning order person. But you can align your habits, and everything isn't forever. But you know what all that is overthinking. We're just coming up with reasons why we shouldn't do the thing we're called to do. I'm not the kind of person who does that. Well, you also not, as of right now, you're also not the kind of person that makes $1 million, but you still want it anyway, right? You got to take the other stuff that come with it. You got to take the stuff that comes with it. We'll talk about not the person we are until it comes to the thing, right? Okay, you said you wanted a partner, right? That means you got to become the Marion type. But that didn't stop you being like, I can't wait till the Lord send my wife, till it's in my husband, right? So you got to become the wife type. That means every time somebody says something that get on your nerves, you can't be like, and another thing, and let me tell you something. You got to start thinking like a wife. Like, oh, okay, cool. That's how you feel right now? Okay, honey, don't worry about it. I ain't gonna talk about it right now in front of your friends, but okay, you got to slowly, you got to get to the point to where you slow to speak. Y'all, I get nervous whenever I see them men act the fool in public, and they wife don't say nothing. I'm like, who he in trouble? The wife is like, Thank you so much for your gift, good mood food. God bless you. The wife is like, I'm like, woo, she gonna wear that behind out when she get home. Like, and it won't even be something aggressive. It's just like, oh boy, you could have just left that in. You're gonna be in trouble for some weeks. You're gonna be in trouble for some weeks. Right? That's why the Lord told us to be slow to speak. You better count the cost before you do anything. Is this worth it? Is this worth it, y'all? Let me tell you. I used to be the person I had to be on every single thing, on top of everything, right? I got married and I just said, okay, do I want to? Now, some of y'all petty, so some of y'all going to answer this question and say yes, right? Because some of y'all like, I will stand, live, and die on this mountain. You sure will. If you ever say that to yourself in the spirit, you absolutely will die on that mountain, okay? But I have to ask myself, one time we were arguing about something, and I stopped and I said, do you want to argue about this for the next 50 years? Is this thing, like, now, look, there's some things that you just got to stand on. Sometimes you just got to put your foot down. But do you want to argue about that for 50 years? 30 years? I think it was Good Mood Food that said they've been married for 30 years. Do you want to argue about that for 30 years? 30? Or you just let it go? Do you just let it go? Now, some of y'all like, yes. I will absolutely expend that type of amount of energy. If you are willing to argue about something like that, that's especially something that's not big, something that's not, exactly, we are not going to be fussing about that, right? If it's really not a destiny altering thing, that is a sign that you need to pursue your destiny. Some of the things that I just won't argue about is because I'm not willing to expend that level of energy on something that has nothing to do with my destiny. I don't have that much energy. I can argue with him about this, and I'm like, Lord, this child gonna come home soon. I'm gonna have to walk the dogs. A client gonna call me. I ain't gonna have nothing left in the tank. No, go ahead. Yeah, you got it. I'll just go ahead and do it. Just because I don't. So if you have that much energy to expend and argue and all that stuff, why don't you argue over your destiny? Why don't you argue over the argue in your prayer room about the promise of God that's on your life? Go argue in the spirit. Argue some of them demons out. Those demons of offense, procrastination, delay, low self-worth, idolatry, comparison, control, deception, manipulation, rejection. Why don't you go argue with some of those? Why don't you argue with the demons that's telling you that you're not all that? Go argue with them. Argue with them, friend. Because at least that's a battle that you're going to win, and a battle that has spoils that's going to unlock the next level in your life, right? Thank you so much, Good Move Food. God bless you. So those are going to be the things that are going to take you to the next level in your life. So you've got to be able to align your mentality with where you want to go. So let's say what you need to do is you need to become a bolder person. And right now you got a little scared, you got a little fear in your chest. You're a little hesitant, you're a little anxious. Okay, well, let's go get some books and stuff about that. Let's attend some seminars and some webinars about becoming more bold. Let's go to the library. Let's read some things on anxiety. Let's journal. Let's, go on Amazon. We go on Amazon for hair, nails, basketball, sports equipment, little whatever paraphernalia. You talk to your little hookup person. You do all this other stuff. You spend little odds and ends in there, whatever. Invest something when you know there's an issue. And you're like, look, this is who I am. This is who I need to become. This is what I'm missing, right? God says, look, I will withhold nothing good, meaning whatever it is that you need, he's not going to hold on to it like this. He'll release it. You just got to go pick it up. And typically someone's already released the information. And nowadays, a lot of it's free. Y'all, I have a library card and I have this little app called Libby. And before I buy a book, I just make sure it's not at my library first. I'm like, is there an ebook with this? Because if it's free, I don't pay for anything that's free. Now I do get bottled water because I don't have spring water close to my house. But I still have a really, really great, really, really nice filter on my refrigerator, which is where this water came from. And to me, it tastes better than the bottled water. So do something to fill in the gaps, okay? Now, for some of you, this is going to free you from worry, all right? Which is number 5, right? Don't worry, get strategic. This is the easiest thing. And then after this, I'm going to show you guys what the next steps are. This is the part where you get strategic. One of the things that I've noticed is many people are paralyzed because of worry and overthinking, aka anxiety, different forms of anxiety. What's up, Light Spiritual W? Okay. So one of the big things that I see is that people worry, what if this, and what if that, and what if this, and what if that? I don't know what to do. 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 I don't know what to do, right? And I get it. We all get there. Do you know what the simplest answer is when you don't know what to do? Is what can you do right now? Because the only thing you can do is what you know and how to do that's in front of you, and to get educated on what's next. So the only thing you can do is what you know to do right now and seek the information to tell you the next steps. That's why you don't have to worry. Your next step is typically right in front of you. Why are you 12 steps ahead when you haven't taken the first step yet? Why? Because you're only going to get to where you need to be step by step by step by step. No one's going to light beam you nowhere. They're not going to Star Trek and you're just going to wake up somewhere else. Unless some of y'all astral projecting, and I'm going to pray for you. Right? But no one's going to light beam you somewhere. You can only go step by step by step by step. Even if you're on a plane, even if you're on the fast track, they still got to go through some cities first. Even on the fast track, it still will take you over 12 hours to get from here to Indonesia on a plane. So you still got to be willing to sit on the plane. I was telling my husband, like, why don't we go to Thailand or something? He's like, how long is that flight? Invite your friends, invite your friends. He's like, how long is that flight? 10 hours. Oh, sound like a girl's trip. Sound like a girl's trip. Woo! That sound like a real nice girl's trip. Anything over like 4.5, 5 hours. He's like, take your friends. Y'all have fun. Send me some pictures. FaceTime me. Right? So no matter where you go, there's going to be steps. And sometimes we'll get to the point where we go through this analysis paralysis where we're like, man, what should I do next? Right? When really just take the first step. And let me tell you, when you take the first step, God will be like, okay, here's your next step. Okay, you mastered that. Here's your next step. Right? Because most of us can't handle being flooded all at once because it's overwhelming. You're still getting some strength in your legs. You're still, and he'll open doors step by step because maybe you got to learn how to balance, your life with the bit in your business that's there. What's up, Daniel Lopez? You back, friend? And y'all go ahead and put some likes up here. Thank you, Daniel. Go ahead and put some likes up here. Where are my likes at? Can we at least get it to 5,000? What have you? And so maybe you got to get some strength under your legs. So maybe, the floodgates aren't opening yet because you still have to, okay, how do I manage the stress of this business and the newness? Because y'all, everything that's new can be a little stressful. Hey, Jenna, MW4, nice to see you again. I think me and Jenna have similar glasses. Every time you come on here, what's up, Journey to Jay, right? And so maybe you just take the first step so that way you can have time to calibrate and to get some strength in your legs. Because let me tell you, when God is blessing you with an idea, a business, a creative endeavor, he don't just put 200 pounds on your back and be like, squat. Some of y'all like that, and y'all be doing that to people. That ain't right. You don't do that to people. You don't put no 300-pound barbell on somebody and be like, squat this. Y'all know them crazy trainers? Go ahead. Those are fake trainers. A real trainer would be like, no, we're going to start with wherever you are. We're going to start there. We're going to work up. Them fake trainers that be walking around, y'all know the people that walk around with them big old thick leather belts at the gym. They got something to say to everybody. Belly out to here, but they got some advice for everybody. The fake trainers will do that. Put 300 pounds on your back and be like, squat this, squat this, squat this. It's your first day back in the gym. God don't do that. Thank you, Floyd. God don't do that. He'll be like, squat. No. Okay, cool. Let me give you some weight. All right, let me let you walk with this. Okay, let me see if you can balance the money out with this. We're going to give you a nice little small Shopify budget. Okay, maybe you made a couple $100, couple $1,000. Let's see how much you reinvest into your business. Let's see how much you pay yourself. How do you keep your inventory up? All of that stuff. Let's start here. Okay, how do you manage getting your kids in bed, fulfilling your orders? How do you do dealing with clients and your baby knocking at the door? How do you do with just to get your legs a little bit stronger, to get yourself underneath, right? Y'all feel me with that? That's one of the things that he'll do. That doesn't mean that it's a sign that you're not doing well. So that's why you take the first step, because typically he's not going to give you 500 pounds on your first step out the gate. So that's why you don't have to think 5,000 steps ahead. Now you want to count the cost and just say, okay, I know I'm going to have to sacrifice some time. This is going to be an investment of time. I know I got to do here, I got to do there. And you just want to have a general idea of the requirements. And thank you so much for sharing and being in a place to where you're accepting what the requirements are. And you're ready to say, okay, yes, I can give this my yes. Based on, this is what my capacity is. This is what's required at this place, right? And I'm going to give this a yes based on this. Okay, cool. So just make the first yes. Now, another reason why that is important and why that track is very important is, remember, the Bible says the blessings of God come with no sorrow. Meaning he's going to bless it. Doesn't mean you're not going to have to work for it. Not that there's going to be, no struggle, but he says it's not going to be any sorrow for you. Meaning it's not going to be one of those things to where you're like, I should have never did this. That's why step by step by step. So don't get so like, why am I not farther here yet? Have you mastered your current steps? Can you handle the weight of it? Do you have the proper expectations? Is this thing becoming an idol for you? Is it getting too much of your attention? Have you made it bigger than you? All those things. Ask that, you have to ask yourself that question. So instead of worrying, get strategic. One of the ways that I know that someone isn't getting strategic because they're worrying. And I know that they're not looking at their data. Because when we worry, we don't look at the data. I remember there was time like, why am I gaining weight? Why am I gaining weight? And the trainer's like, write down everything you eat. Now I had spent months like, why am I gaining weight? And he wrote down, he's like, this is why you're gaining weight. All you do is eat sugar, bread, rice, oatmeal, pasta, cheese, potatoes, sweet potatoes with honey on them, sweet potatoes with butter and sugar and brown sugar, sweet potato. So all you do is eat sugar. That's why you're gaining weight. Oh, okay. Since you said it. He's like, this is easy. But when you stop worrying, you'll get strategic. Okay, let me look at the details of this. That's also, getting strategic is also a way of knowing that our confidence is there. Because when your confidence is low, you see every negative. Thank you, Daniel. When your confidence is low, you see every failure or every negative as more evidence of the fact that you're inept. I knew I couldn't make it, right? It feeds more into your, what is it when you call it? Imposter syndrome. That's a sign of insecurity when you will not look at the data because the data beats you up. That's also a way of knowing that you are identifying with your results instead of seeing your results as a state. I am in the state of losing money. I'm not someone who loses money. I'm not bad with money. My business is not a failure, but right now my business is losing money. Why is that? Let me investigate. Someone who's worried, insecure, low self-confidence, they just say, no, it's not. I am a winner. And they'll just ignore it because they're ashamed. They have no reason to be ashamed. It's just the results are tapping at that insecurity, and something in you is seeing the results as evidence that whatever that insecurity is real. I'm ugly. See, nobody liked my picture. Or it was a weird filter. Or you posted it with the wrong hashtags. Or it's 4 a.m. and no one's online. Or you're on the wrong platform. And that particular platform will only push you if it's that other kind of stuff. That's it. That's it. Get strategic. When you're not strategic, you'll look at every person who's not for you and you ignore all the people who are. I was working with a client, this was a while back, and they're like, and all these people, and I'm having difficulty recruiting and finding good employees, and and I said, well, before we talk about new employees, what you gonna do with these people that are here? Why are you treating them like that? You don't have employees. Well, they're not doing it. Okay, well, why aren't they? Have you trained them? Have you developed them? Have you spent any time with them? Did you get them a car for Christmas? Did you do anything? So before you bring some more people in here so that they can be around the other people who already don't feel like you care about them, how about let's just make the people that are here better? So that way you just don't have 10 people who are like, they're using us. They hate us. I feel underappreciated and undervalued. That is a sign that you have to get something in your mentality just reset and recalibrated, so that way you're making it worth it. You're making it worth your time. You're making it worth your energy. You're making it worth it. You're getting the most out of it. One of my biggest pet peeves, right, is when people don't take advantage of their resources. Wastefulness. Wastefulness is you're putting all these things in a box, and this box got a hole in it this big. And instead of fixing the box, you just keep putting more stuff in there. Why it ain't full yet? Why it ain't full yet? Because you got this big open gash in there. So now you're pouring more money, more energy, more resources, more marketing, more of your time, your sleep, your mental, your energy, all of these things in this thing, right? Thinking that that's going to fix it when all you really need to do is close that gap. Take a moment to close that thing up. Take a moment to close that thing up so you can make it happen. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. And so you got to get strategic, y'all. That is the difference between some of the people that you see. And you're like, man, why did they blow up? Because they use strategy. They just not out here doing stuff hurried. They're not rushing. They're not so anxious, like, I gotta do something, I'm gonna be a failure. I gotta do something. They're just not out here just doing stuff. Now, there is a time to where when you're so new that you're like, let me see something. That's not forever though. That's a short period of time. And a lot of times those are people that do not have adequate counsel, or they don't have adequate mentorship or coaching or networking, because typically there'll be someone that can at least give you the foundations to start off with. And then you just rinse and repeat. And then you follow the success process. Right? And we'll do what the success process is another time, but I'll give you a brief synopsis. There's a process to success that if your confidence and your mentality is low, you'll abandon the process in the middle of the process because you don't realize that that's just what it takes, that little inching here. And there's some key indicators and a way to strategize to where you're getting the most out of your success process, and that you're not abandoning things too quickly. And so what I see is two things. One big problem is that when people never start, just never start. You had these ideas. Next thing you know, 5 days passes by, and then you say, oh, and then it's 2 weeks, and then it's a month, and then it's like 6 weeks, and then it's like 4 months, and then it's 8, then it's a year, and the next thing you know, it's 2 years, and it's 5 years, and then next thing you know, someone else did it. Right? Or you waited so long that now you feel like it's too late. Now, instead of it just being simply a strategic battle, because this is the thing when I hate when we don't start things or we don't restart and revive, because sometimes you have to restart it and refresh it because you mentally quit, although you're actively engaged in it. Because when that happens, it becomes more of a mental battle than a strategic battle. I prefer to fight strategic battles because with a strategic battle, it's just do ABC, get the results, see what happens, ABC, ABC. Mental battles, you got to fight within yourself. Those are way harder, but you have to do it one way or the other. There's no way around it. And so what I'm doing for those of you guys who you're hearing this, you're like, look, I do need a free, I need a restart. I need a refresh. I need to go ahead and give birth to this thing, right? I want you guys to join me for the month of September, the entire month. I know it sounds like a whole month. Yeah, because I want it to work. I don't want you to just get like a boost of motivation. TikTok, everything else is filled with boosts of motivation. You don't need motivation. You need follow through. You need accountability. You need the trainer that's waiting at the gym and being like, that's going to text you and be like, Tiffany, Thomas, you not here yet. Where you at? Send me a picture of your lunch. You don't need motivation. Motivation is a good dopamine hit. And you say, oh, that was nice. I'm going to get my life together. And you might do it for a week. Sometimes 2, right? But most of the time we'll get those hits, but we don't have the sustaining thing. We're not sticking with it. We don't have our habits in alignment and someone holding us accountable. And so I have a program for 30 days called 30 to Eden. It's going to start on September 9th. If you're watching on YouTube, I need to update that. Sorry, I know it says September 8th. That's a Sunday. But that's the last day to turn in all of your pre-work, my YouTube friends, is September the 8th. So it's from September the 9th to October 4th. And we're going to meet twice a week privately. Some of y'all have already, Good Mood, didn't you sign up already? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to meet privately. Yeah, I was going to say, I know you signed up already. We're going to meet privately for twice a week for the entire month. Twice a week for the entire month. And what we're going to do is chop down at whatever your goals are. Some of y'all already have a business that you need to revive. Some of you guys have a business in your mind that you need to bring to life. Some of you guys, it may be a nonprofit, or maybe you're thinking about something. Maybe you want to go back to school and you just have some mental and strategic things just in your life that you need to get together. You know, where everyone has something and everyone has some sort of race to run. We're going to work together for the entire month on that thing. So all you do, click the link in my bio and sign up. We're still in the early bird period. It's only $250 for the entire month. So that's right, over 8 sessions of coaching. So 2 months worth of work in 1 month. We're actually going to be zooming. We're going to be working real fast. But it's going to be very intentional, and it's going to be meat. This isn't going to be milk, but we're going to be going fast. So we'll be meeting twice a week, and we're going to review these things. And what it is before you start, I'm going to have all of you guys send me your tangible goals. Did you send me your form? And I didn't get your workbook yet either. I didn't get your workbook yet, Good Mood Food. Make sure you sent it, because I called you too. I was just like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm going to check my email. Let me see. Just in case. Sometimes people are like, I just sent it today. No, I don't see your name on there. Okay. you sent it? All right. I didn't see I didn't see your workbook come through. Make sure you email me your workbook. The Cultivating Vision Strategy. That was in the email. You click the link and it's going to download and you fill that out. Okay. Oh, well, I didn't see your email. Resend me the workbook, because I did not see it in my email. Let me check my spam folder. Hold on. And send it from your same emails. Okay, I'm going to search when I get off of here. Was the workbook helpful though? Now, when I first started doing it, every time I do that workbook, my hands start shaking like, okay, what is it? Right? But it's only $250 right now for the entire month. Sign up. I know. It's one of those things, you do it and then it's like, okay, got it. Okay, I see what it is that I want to do. Let's just go ahead. Let's address it. The cat is out of the bag. The monster's out of the closet. Let's just go ahead and slay it. Let's just go ahead and chop this thing down. Okay. So do the sign up. When you sign up, after 24 hours, you're going to get an email that's going to have a form for you to fill out. And you're also going to receive a workbook to fill out. Make sure that you guys do that, because I'm forming the entire curriculum for those 30 days based upon everyone's collective needs that are in the group. And so we're going to do our development sessions during the week, and that every single week you're going to be privately coached by me using flash coaching, which is emailing, messaging, things like that. Meaning you could do it at your own schedule to where it doesn't require for you to be on the phone with me the entire time, because you're already getting the group development. If you've been listening to me for this entire time, that means that there's something that's ringing true. Just do it. This is going to be important, because in this season of time in life, some of y'all been here since 2023. I've called out a lot of things that are going to happen that have already happened in 2024. After this election season and in 2025, everything, what's up, Bells? Everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that's been tapping you on the shoulder, everything that you've been like, you know what, I just need to go ahead and get that together. You know, all the things that you have been procrastinating about, the dreams that are just sitting in your mind that you haven't brought out, all of those things you're going to need. You're going to need the money from your side business. You're going to need the money from your main business. You're going to need the nonprofit. And not only are you going to need that, someone's going to need you. I don't know if you guys noticed, but things are getting a little crazier and crazier and crazier. And not that it's not a necessarily a political issue, but we're going to start seeing the murmurs of this after the election this year. We're going to start seeing it, right? And by the time 2025 comes, you're going to be like, you want to go ahead and get your mind in the right place to where the first week of the sessions, we're going to deal with some of the mentality issues. And I'm going to give you guys direct feedback and coaching about some of the things in your mentality. Certain things to where if there's things in your self-confidence that needs to be adjusted. Maybe it's your paradigm. Sometimes it's the way that we see the world and the invisible rule we've created, because that's really what your paradigm is how you see the world. And it's all of those subconscious rules to life that you've created, that you've been living by, that's been out of alignment with the life that you want to live. Is out of alignment with where you need to go. Meaning your mind is still in 2003, but we in 2024. Because sometimes it's not about like how you dress and things like that. It's just you haven't updated. You're still on Mac version 1.0, and we're now at like Max. Let me see. I need to update my Mac while I'm talking about it. We're at Max Sonoma 14.5. I guess it's supposed to be 14.7. But you're still at version 1. And you're like, why am I losing? You're not a loser. You just haven't upgraded. You haven't upgraded your phone. You haven't upgraded your mental operating system. And these are the things that you need someone to help walk you through. And so what I love is I've already done this program just with a different group before. And it was more of a closed group of people that I already knew and people that were already within my circle, within my network and business. But now I'm offering it to who the Lord sends. So sign up sooner than later. Go ahead and commit. If you've been sitting here for this long and this has been helpful, imagine this but being tailored to your specific situation. And this is something to where I priced it at that price to make it accessible, because I know that coaching is one of those things and mentoring is one of those things that everyone needs. But typically people are doing it at such like a skyrocketed, price that many people aren't able to get in on it. And so I just formulated it in a way that can facilitate a great number of people for a sustainable amount of time, meaning it's not going to be fly by night. It's going to be for the entire 30 days, right? For 4 weeks. And so that way you're going to get the follow through, all of that. So just click the link in my bio and press the button for 30 to Eden. Register for 30 to Eden. And it's going to be great. We already have some participants and I'm excited to see, because and what I love is that not only is it going to be a place where everyone's getting poured into, but where I'm seeing this going is also being a network to where there's people from various backgrounds and various fields, which I always get excited about, because I always not only pour, but I also learn more. Do y'all hear about my dog snoring like that? Bruno. He's snoring like he got a job. Jeez. He was just back there going to town. Then I got this nice mic. Y'all probably could hear all of that. If you got your AirPods in, I know you could hear all of that. So anyway, make sure, click the link in my bio and it says, scroll down just a little bit and it says register for 30 to Eden. Click it, go ahead and sign up. And then when you sign up, I'm going to send you everything that you need post-registration. So meaning you have some homework that you got to do before you get started. And that's going to allow me to know what the playing field is, because I can't navigate you in a direction that I don't know. That's why I feel really weird when people have like, we're going to do this, big whatever, right? But like, we don't even know what these people's goals are, what they want. So it's going to be more intimate coaching than necessarily a summit or something like that, where people get all this information and you try to grab whatever nuggets. No, I want to make sure that by the end, you actually produce fruit, meaning when we're done, you can see I did this and this is what came of it. This was my goal. This is how much I exceeded the goal. Maybe I hit it. Maybe I missed it by this much, but I'm still further than where I started. And this is why this is important. Sometimes in life, we feel like we're going through life and we don't have the confidence because we haven't had enough wins under our belt. Sometimes you need to go through life, and what's going to get that extra something that you need is you need to see results and you need to get a win. There's nothing like, if I'm exercising or whatever, and you take like some before pics and some after pics, and you're like, hold on, I think I see a little side. I think I see a little line there. I see a little line. I see a little line up. I see a little line over here. Hey, Yamar Blackburn. I see a little line over here. Hold on. Is this my collarbone coming back? Is it my collarbone coming back? What's up, Tamara? That's my middle name. So sometimes you need to do something and to allow someone to work with you so you can get some wins underneath your belt. We got all these Dukes coming in. Y'all know that's my mama maiden name. So when all these Dukes coming in, I'm always like, are we related? Are y'all from Kentucky? Right? Are you from where my mom them from? And there's been a few today. I'm like, and my mom's side of the family, they fertile. They had a lot of kids. So everybody had like 10 kids. So anybody with the name Duke, or specifically last name Duke, I'm like, we got to be related. Because they fertile myrtles. From the rooter to the tutor. I ain't talking about 4, 5 kids. They was like 15, 10, 11, like we can't even have a regular family reunion. We got to get a ballroom. Like a Verizon conference, corporate conference. I know. Because we can't even do Christmas together because we'll put that person out of house and home. Everybody has to do their own separate Christmas, and then we come together for like everybody goes to the movies or something like that. It's too many people. We like family reunion has to be at like a park. One of my great aunts passed away, and somebody asked, "Did a diplomat die?" Because there was just so many cars, just coming all the way down the street. There were so many cars. They're like, "Is this a political? Is Joe Biden in town?" Like that. I know, mercy. That's how big the family is. So anyway, you're going to have to do something to where you get some wins under your belt, some W's, the opposite of taking L's, opposite of taking losses. You just need a few wins so you can say, oh, I can do this. Just so you can start trusting yourself that you can do it. Because some of you guys, the reason you're not doing it is there's a question mark. Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? And what I want to do is turn that question mark into a period. Yes, I can. Boom. Here's the evidence. So then you can just say, okay, go, let's pass go and collect $200, or do not pass go and collect $200. Sometimes you have to get results to say, okay, so I can do this. Is this something that is possible? Do I want to? Maybe you have 4 ideas and you bring one idea to the table or one thing to the table, and you follow the path, you follow the strategy, you get the results, and you say, okay, well, let me apply this to this because this is the thing I really wanted to do. This was the tester thing. Because sometimes people bring me a tester goal. Right? Because you're not willing to be vulnerable with yourself. You're like, this is my baby bird. I want to protect this one. This one's my dream. I'm going to just put my toe in the water with this other one. No, don't do that, friend. So click the link in my bio and click register to return to Eden. Here's the thing. I made the price accessible to where for 4 weeks worth of coaching, right? So that is $250, like less than $70 a week, right? A few trips to Chick-fil-A and whatever else y'all be getting and wasting money on. And how I know y'all be wasting money on stuff, because when I drive down the road, I see it. Y'all got soda cans, you bought a Powerade, you went to McDonald's. I tell people, when you litter, and people like me be all in y'all business. You went to the hair store, you dropped your lash over here, you went to Chick-fil-A about 5 times. Then when I pass by your car, I see the little bags. I be like, they've been to Wendy's. How y'all have Wendy's bags in your car at the gym? Y'all had a Wendy's bag right there in the passenger seat, your best friend. then roll right up to the gym with you. Y'all, I'm that nosy person. I don't even try to see it. And I'm like, look at, you should have left Wendy at home. How are you gonna roll up to the gym and you just had Wendy in the car with you? You ain't about to do nothing that's gonna counteract Wendy today. Then you being on the gym on the phone. Wendy getting the best of you. So that's how I know what y'all end up spending y'all little money on every week. Cause it's all in your car, it's on the side of the road, it's in your trash can at work. You know, you got evidence where everybody wasting their money on is everywhere. I'm like, how many single bags of chips can y'all eat? The chips it's mostly air. Except for them Doritos. Now, if I see y'all listen now, some of y'all, I love wings. So some of y'all go to those good wing spots. I can tell by how the bone y'all eat, because I walk a lot, y'all. This is how I see this. I like Wingstop. That's one of my favorite fast food places is Wingstop. Especially the ranch dressing that they have there and the seasoned fries. But when I'm not eating unhealthy, I just whatever I cook. Maybe I might make some salmon, some vegetables. I try to keep it real plain, real, like I'm not gonna get any surprises when I go to the doctor. So I try to cook in a way. My husband will die, right? He. So I try to do something to where if I go to the doctor, they're not going, you got high cholesterol. So that way it's no surprises. And then every once in a while, I give myself a treat. So during the week, it's kind of boring. But if I'm going to stop for fast food, it's probably going to be some Wingstop. It's probably going to be Wingstop. I ain't going to lie. Because I'll be right over there with y'all, dipping my fries in that ranch dressing, putting that extra seasoning on it. Asian zinger wings, all them wings. Yeah. So you're going to get bi-weekly coaching for an entire month. Now, sometimes, especially women, because I went to this meeting with this really, really cool CEO, and she said that women are more unlikely to commit to something unless they know that they can do every single thing. Well, all of our coaching sessions are going to be recorded. I prefer for you guys to be on there, but make sure that you join. I'm patient. Have a good day. Make sure that you guys join. Make sure that you sign up, and sign up sooner than later. So that way, the same way that my friend Good Mood Food here was like, and it was a long workbook. It's not long. It's detailed. Okay. It's detailed because I want it to be effective. It's detailed because we're not playing. It's detailed because your life has many promises on it that we are going to pull out. It's detailed because I'm submitted to the Lord. And once he sends me forth about something, I know he'll play. And I was detailed, so it made it long. Good. But you probably already had some things that unlocked from just finishing the workbook. Because that's the part when you just finish the homework from before we even start the sessions. Usually people walk away from just that saying, dang, for real? Before we even start, they just finished the pre-work and they're like, oh, all these years, that was it. And how this workbook came about was because I used to teach a development session to executives and CEOs where they'd invite me to like their yearly meetings. And the question that people always, thank you so much for sharing, Daddy Kane. The question that people would ask me all the time was like, how do you get these types of results? Typically, the businesses that I work with, right, within my organization, they will usually see anywhere between 200 to 300 to 400% increases. And I told them a big part of what allows me to get those types of results is I spend a lot of time in strategy and planning with the organization. So before we go, everyone's trying to get into execution mode. We get into identification mode, and we do so much identification that by the time we're done and we've gone through the process of elimination, we've seen past mistakes, we know where our opportunities are, we go through all of this stuff, that by the time we start, all we have to do is give everyone their marching orders. So there's 100% clarity about what's next, which is half the battle. And if you guys work in places to where nobody's really clear about what's going on, Don't think it's just at your business or your organization. Fortune 500, 1,000 companies have the same issue. And so they would bring me in and I would walk them through this process, and I would hand all of their executive teams, meaning their CEOs, their VPs, their higher ups, their managers, whoever they felt like needed to be in the room, I would hand them this workbook and I would walk them through this process. And by the time they're done, they get a moment of clarity. This is why this hasn't happened. This is why this is where it is. This is what we want. We thought we wanted this, but we really don't. That's just wasting our time. We've been putting all this focus on this thing. This isn't even in alignment with our vision. Because a big part of why I have this workbook is people need to see this is what I want. And these are all the things that are sucking up my time that have nothing to do with what I want. And so that's another key. That'll be our bonus key, is prioritization. Meaning you figure out what you want and you prioritize your time, you prioritize your energy towards the thing that you want. The issue is that we put all of our energy into these places and spaces that have nothing to do with what we want. And by the time we get to the thing that we actually want in our life, we don't have any more energy left. And we don't do it on purpose. It's because we haven't sat down to really do that, or we don't know how to sit down and do that. And so I start everyone off there. And so when I take on clients, the workbook that Good Food filled out, that's what I have them fill out. So by the time we're done fleshing out all this stuff, they're like, oh, okay, this is where we at. Right? And even just completing that is the first steps. And then once we're there and all the gray areas taken away, we've cleared all the fog and all the smoke. Now we're just boom, 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 boom. Let's do it. So when you sign up, that's going to be very important for you to fill that out, email it back to me. My email's in my bio too, right? Or you can put in whatever, but it's in there. It says email me. You email it back to me using that email address, and you can take pictures of it, whatever, email it back to me. And that's going to be the basis of what we do. So for everyone that's signing up, I'm treating you guys like I would that Fortune 500 company or that whatever company, that organization, and that I am getting all of the feedback and saying, okay, based on these things, this is what it is that we need to focus on, y'all. Here are the challenges. Here are the changes. Here are the simple strategies, because I'm a believer in simple strategies. I don't believe in complex strategies. A complex strategy, people look at and get tired. Y'all ever look at something like, oh, I'm tired. That's too many steps. That's why IKEA, they give you those directions. So they want you to believe it's going to be easier than what it is. Because if you think it's hard, it'll be that bookshelf that's in your closet, that's been in your garage since 2008 that you never put together because it was just too many steps and it got dust on it. It's not even in style no more. Nope, they want you to put it together, put it on Pinterest, show it to everybody, and be like, oh, I got this from IKEA. So you don't give up too early. Doesn't mean it won't be hard, but they try to make it as simple as possible. I believe in the same thing. I don't want people to be deterred based upon an illusion of complexity. Most strategies that people need to be successful are usually the simple strategies. We don't get into complex strategies, and what people don't realize in business, you have to get to a certain point in business before you have to bring out the big guns. Most people are not worried about that. They don't have a really, really intense, difficult to solve, that sort of problem. Most of us have issues that it's like, oh, I just need to go and do this. Okay, if I put A, B, and C together, then I'll get to that result. Oh, let me check on my YouTube folk. I'm so sorry. Y'all, I try to have the chat up. Okay. Sorry. Because I had looked over, I had pulled up my website and it closed my thing where I can see my YouTube. And it's harder because anyway, hey. One day I might have it all on one platform and I'll be able to do it. But, anyway. So most people, your business has to get to a certain level before your strategy needs to become complex. And so what I'm going to do is help you guys identify just simple things that you can do that has a big reward. And to make those little 5%, 10%, 20%. And there's a book called The Slight Edge Theory that talks about how just this little bitty change can make a huge difference. A lot of times business can be a lot like a track runner, to where the difference between gold and not winning can really just come down to 1 second. You're not really that much better, but it takes so much more to get that 1 second difference. And it could be one person just came out the blocks better. All right. And most of the time it's not something that's that complex. You just need someone to walk you through the process. So go to the link, sign up for 30 to Eat, and click register now, enroll now, make the investment, and it's super accessible. Some of you guys follow up with who? Oh, okay. Yeah, I already did that. Okay. Some of you guys may not have, here we go. Some of you guys may be like, oh, well, maybe I should just, no, go ahead and do it. Make the investment, and it's a small investment, or maybe it is a big investment for you, but look, I promise you, move some resources around, get it done, because one part of that thing is I'm asking you guys to have one goal, 1 to 3 small goals that you'd like to see results in. Maybe you want to launch a business and your goal is, I want to get to 5 clients, right? Those 5 clients are going to more than take care of, your registration, right? Because we're going to work backwards from all of the goals that you guys submit, and to make sure that you do something to hit it. Now, here's a good thing. A good goal is something that you can implement immediately, or you can see yourself obtaining within a very short period of time. The same way that a great business is something that you can think of over a weekend and go out and get your first client that next Monday. That's how you know you have a great idea. If it's really, really complex, unless you got $1 billion in the bank waiting for you, typically it just takes too much to launch. Unless you just know it's that thing. But even if you have, let's say you're in tech or something like that, and you have a really good idea, right? Get the code together. Get a basic product, and based upon the concept and the basic product, could you sign one customer even when it wasn't perfect? Right? You might be in tech, but could you get that one person to come and get their hair braided in your living room, but just the tech version? Are you good enough for someone to, at least for your easy customer to come sit down in your living room and get their hair braided? For them to cut your hair on the front porch? Your early customers in something should be those people that you show enough of what it is that they're like, okay, that sounds cool. And then what you do is you make your adjustments from those early customers or those early people. Heck, that could be good dating advice. How many dates have you been on? Right? Are you just warming up? I ain't say to bring them into the holiest of holies. I just said, have you brought them to the outer court? You go eat some pasta. Y'all go hit some, they don't have to be perfect for you to go play putt-putt. They ain't got to pick you up at the house. You can date somebody in the outer court, at least in the beginning. You ain't got nothing to lose. Go hit some putt-putts. Do they still have putt-putt, y'all? Do we still have those safe dating places? Like putt-putt and what else? What else are those other places that like you can be out with someone, but you ain't got to be like out with them? It could still be kind of fun and casual. Putt-putt, arcades. They still have Dave and Buster's. Little places like that to where it's like, okay, either way, I'm gonna have a good time. Right? So you guys, if you haven't already, right, click the link, sign up. And then if you guys have any questions or if you want to join or anything like that, please feel free to join. Good Mood, do you want to come on? I want to ask you some questions about your vision workbook. And then if you want to, I'm going to invite you on here because I do have 1 or 2 questions for you. You don't have to turn your camera on if you don't want. Or if anyone else wants to and you have some questions about it, please come up and or type in the chat and then I'll invite you on. I think that's how that works. And then I'll have to go soon because I have to cook something. I gotta do some cooking and then go and work out. Because I already been on here talking about how I'm gonna get in shape. And how I put on my suit pants today. Because I had some development sessions. So I have 2 development sessions on Tuesday mornings. One's at 8 a.m. and the other one's at 10 a.m. with my clients. And so I try to have, even though I work from home most of the time, I still try to like wear some business attire and things like that because I'm speaking with business people and their employees and what have you. And so I put my suit pants on today. I said, hold on, these are a little tighter than what I remember. So I said, let me make sure I get to the gym today. Because I have been skipping my gym sessions. I can still get in them. But I was like, hold on, I don't remember the waist being like, you know, when you gotta get an extra tug. I was like, hold on, wait. This wasn't what it was. So anyway, click the link in my bio, sign up, 30 to Eden. You don't want to miss it, y'all. Sign up now. And the first day is going to be September the 9th. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a fun time. Click the link in my bio and hit 30 to Eden. Let me see if I can put this up here. Nope, maybe not. Y'all, I'm going to figure out the rest of how to do that. But really, that's it, y'all. Thank you guys so much. And y'all have an incredible day. Bye.